In the wake of last week's school shooting in Florida, many are asking, how can we prevent another tragedy like this from happening again? Is the answer to armed teachers in the classroom? Our educators have now found themselves in the front line of America's gun battle.
I want my schools protected, just like my banks are protected.
Well, the president tweeting highly trained gun adept teachers and coaches could solve the problem instantly. So we asked you on our Facebook page, how would you feel if teachers at your child's school were carrying loaded weapons? Our Caroline Flynn looked at your responses. She also spoke with Spokane schools today. Caroline.
Well, an overwhelming majority, over 70% of our viewers, were for arming teachers in schools. But the Spokane Education Association, the group that represents about 3,400 teachers and staff in District 81, felt differently.
Last week's school shooting in a Florida high school has made us once again question so much when it comes to security in our classrooms. More guards, metal detectors, and weapon bans have all been floated as ideas. Yesterday, President Trump suggested arming teachers.
I think a concealed permit for having teachers and letting people know that there are people in the building with guns. You won't have, in my opinion, you won't have these shootings.
So where do Spokane teachers stand on the issue?
It's a little too soon.
Henry says they'd like to see more resources for building relationships between students and the school, more mental health services in the community, and training for teachers and staff.
I think looking at the broad range of resources and the complex nature of being secure in a school takes a lot of dialogue. It's not just one thing.
They say security in the Spokane School District is meeting the need of students and staff, even though the spokesperson for the district, Kevin Morrison, says it's somewhat different from neighboring districts. They have one unarmed resource officer in every high school, which he says is more efficient. Not so fast, says Sheriff Ozzie Knezevich.
I'm a former school resource officer. I actually started a program in one of the agencies I came from. I can tell you that it is one of the most effective programs there is.
He says armed deputies in high schools get tips from students to help solve crime and doesn't think adding more armed individuals in our schools would be a bad thing.
You're never going to get to the point where it's an absolute guarantee that nobody's going to come into that school. So having somebody at that school that can deal with that problem is probably paramount.
I called a number of local school districts today to see what the security situation is in their schools right now. In the Coeur d'Alene School District, each of the 8 armed deputies from Kootenai County and officers from the Coeur d'Alene Police Department oversee 2 to 3 schools each. In the Cheney School District, there's just 1 armed officer for the entire district. They are actively working to find a second. In studio, Caroline Flynn, KXLY4 News.
Thank you, Caroline.